Good afternoon, Transforming Artist class. My name is Mitchell Bradford. I am an acting major here, so shout out to you acting majors. What? I was asked by Donna to film a little excerpt or a story from my Worldwide Witness experience. But before I get into that, I would share how I even got into the Worldwide Witness experience, like who shared it with me. So it was my sophomore year, it was last year, and it was in the midst of cats, and there was this freshman, Allie Wolfert. She was also an acting major, or musical theater major, I can't remember. She's not here this year, though, because she's busy working at another church this year. Praise God, it's pretty awesome stuff. But anyway, she told me about, hey, I think you would be really great doing missions this summer. And I was like, what? Why? Because I was like, I'm going to do theater this summer. That's what I did the previous summer. Like, I worked at a theater company, like, my freshman year summer. Why would I go do something for God? That's not what I said, but that's, that's kind of what, like, I'm like, I'm gonna do theater, like, that's what I'm gonna do. But slowly and surely, like, there were people that would come up to me and say, hey, have you thought about interning at a church? Or, hey, have you thought about, doing missions? Or, hey, have you thought about so-and-so and so-and-so and so? So everything that's not theater. And that kind of came as a bit of a shock to me. But anyway, I was like, no, I'm going to do theater this summer, so I was trying to apply for SETC, so Southeastern Theater Conference, for those of you who haven't heard what it was, but I'm assuming y'all know what it is already. I just picked my nose right there. Anyway, so I tried to apply to that, but for some reason my application just wasn't submitting, and so, like, I was, like, trying to submit it, and then, like, the day after it was due, Adam actually emailed me. I was like, hey, do you wanna do SETC? And then, like, impulsively, I was like, no. I don't know where it came from, but I was like, no, I don't want to. And so I just, like, started living life, and I was just so crushed by missing this opportunity, even though I said no. And so I decided to look into what this Worldwide Witness thing was. So I went and set up a meeting with Larry Henderson, who is the professor of missions and Worldwide Witness extravaganza over in the Bible department. And I met with him, and I was like, hey, so I'm a theater major, and, like, all this happened. Help. And he was like, you should do missions. You should go to Slovenia and work with Josiah Venture, which I actually have the water bottle here. If you haven't noticed me drinking this water bottle, Josiah Venture, it's probably flipped for y'all, oh well. And so I was like, okay, what does that mean? And so he explained it like, this is like theater and music ministry, and you do camps with students over there in Slovenia. And I was like, that sounds awesome, I'm in. So I started. Spring semester came, and I had the fundraise, and it was hard. Fundraising was really hard. I sent, like, letters to, like, 60 different families. A lot of them did donate, which was awesome, but, like, by the time my money was due, I was missing $1,000, and it was like, oh no. So I was praying, like, all the semester, and by the way, the Worldwide Witness class is incredible. It talks a lot about spiritual disciplines. It talks a lot about, where do we see God in our day-to-day lives, and, like, how do we, in the mission field, pursue that. It's super great class, and a lot of the disciplines we learned in that class I'm still using today. And so the day it was due, I was, like, doing all these spiritual disciplines. I was fasting. I was doing all these things. I was like, God, I really feel like I should go. You have gotten me this far. I know you can get me further. And sure enough, about 2 hours after that prayer, $1,000 came in my account. And then at the end of the day, another $1,000 that came in that account. So I was $1,000 over my amount, which was a way of saying, God was saying, hey, like, I'm giving you some money to pay for your rent that summer, so that way you can still go do this. And it blew me away. And I was like, okay, then I'm going to give everything I got this summer. Sure enough, come May 28th, I flew to where Josiah Venture had led me. Now let's get into what Josiah Venture is about. Josiah Venture values dynamic community, bold faith, God-honoring excellence, and all these things. If you're interested in their mission statements, I would love to talk to you about it. But their mission was a bit different than what was introduced to me. It was relational ministry that uses music and theater as a tool. So I went there and we did this really cool team building thing called Amazing Race. And if you want to hear more about that, I have a whole video that I can send you about the Amazing Race. And it's like you get on your country team, and there are like 25 countries that are over Slovenia. That are 25 countries that are a part of Josiah Venture. So I got a part of my team. There were like 8 of us, and we won the Amazing Race out of like 32 other teams. It was mind blowing, and it was so much fun. It was a part of we went through 3 different countries doing different challenges and all that until we got to home base in Czech Republic. And then at Czech Republic, we learned what it meant to be an intern, and how do we, serve our local churches that we will be working at, and all that fun stuff. That was like the first week and a half. It was overwhelming. I was like, what did I get myself into? Like, what is this? And so sure enough, I then moved to my city that I would be staying at for the summer, which was Celje, Slovenia. And it was awesome. I lived in an apartment by myself. I was the only guy intern in my city. I had to bike everywhere. I got really in shape this summer. I probably lost a little bit of it since being back at school, but anyway. So I started making friends. I started going to the local church. I started getting with the kids that were already a part of the local church. But then I started visiting schools and teaching some English classes, being a part of that. And the middle schoolers were they just latched onto us. They was like, hey, let's go to the museum today. And I was like, sure. And I would just go places. And it was just amazing because they leaned in as much as I leaned in. And that was awesome. Now, in the midst of this time, I was preparing for music and theater camps that I was telling y'all about, in which I did 2. And I helped lead a video workshop at one of the camps, and I am not skilled in video whatsoever. But at these camps, an American team would come over and help out and all that. Just amazing stuff. And after these camps, I would lead follow-up events, and follow-up events included hey, let's go to the lake today, or hey, let's go to the Celje Castle. And it would be a way to ensure that the students that came to camp are still getting plugged into the local church. Now, something to mention is there is less than 1% of evangelical Christians in Slovenia. So it was challenging. And when a person in Slovenia makes a choice to follow Christ, they give everything up. There's this college student I met this summer who made the decision to follow Christ. And through that, his parents kicked him out of his house. And it was heartbreaking. But it was a way for me to be I'm so blessed being in the country I live in. But also, am I making the choice to follow Christ? Am I making the choice to give everything? And that was incredible to learn, an incredible way to see what God has for me through Worldwide Witness and all those things. And there are so many stories I can share. But this is just a big, quick 10-minute recap video of my summer, and I can talk about this for hours, literally hours. So I encourage y'all to come ask me questions, come talk to me about this, and I would love to share. One thing I will say before I sign off is one thing I learned a lot this summer was how God sees me. And so I recommend if you like feel like you're not good enough, if you feel like you're not spiritual enough to do worldwide witness, that's Satan telling you lies. I think anyone can be a missionary. I think anyone can be a servant of God as long as they pursue God with all they have. There is no prerequisite to be a son of God. There's no prerequisite to be a daughter of God. So I'll leave that with y'all. Y'all have a wonderful Transforming Artist class. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And have a wonderful year. Again, like I said, if you have any questions, come talk to me. I would love to meet with y'all. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye. Mwah!